gather round and let the quiet of the night settle in. Tonight, we're drifting into a story from the stars, a soft whisper from a long time ago. Let your mind float away from the day, and let's travel back to a time when humanity reached for the moon. Our story isn't about the bright, fiery launch, but about a quiet moment of listening, a story of hope found in the faintest of signals. This is the story of Apollo 13. Imagine yourself in a quiet room late at night. The only light comes from the soft glow of screens and blinking buttons. This is mission control in Houston. The air is thick with tension, but it's a quiet tension. The men and women here are listening with all their might for a voice from the vast, dark expanse of space. Out there, hundreds of thousands of miles away, 3 astronauts are adrift in a tiny capsule. Their mission to the moon has taken an unexpected turn. A sudden jolt, a warning light, and to simple words that echoed through space, Houston, we've had a problem. The spacecraft, their home and their chariot, was losing power, losing heat, losing the very air they needed to breathe. They were cold, they were in darkness, and they were very, very far from home. Their main communication system, the strong, clear voice that connected them to Earth, had fallen silent. The powerful signal that once boomed through the speakers in Houston was gone. All that was left was a deep, star-filled silence. In that silence, fear could have taken over. Despair could have settled in like the deep, cold blackness outside their window. But on Earth, the listeners didn't give up. They leaned closer to their consoles, tuning their instruments, straining to hear something, anything. They knew the astronauts were still out there. They had to be. So, they waited. They listened. It's a special kind of strength, isn't it? The strength to be still, to be patient, to hold on to hope when all you can hear is silence. And then, it came. It wasn't a loud boom or a clear voice. It was a whisper, a tiny, faint crackle, barely there. A signal so weak it was almost lost in the cosmic static, the background noise of the universe. It was like trying to hear a single cricket chirping in a storm. But they heard it. To the team in Houston, that faint, fragile signal was the most beautiful sound in the world. It was the voice of the command module's radio, a system with so little power it was never meant to reach Earth from that distance. It was like shouting across a vast canyon and hearing the faintest echo in return. That whisper meant the astronauts were alive. It meant they were fighting, and it meant there was a chance. Now, the real work began. The teams on the ground had to communicate with the crew using this ghost of a signal. They had to send complex instructions, life-saving procedures, all through this delicate, crackling thread. Every word had to be clear, every number precise. They spoke slowly, carefully, sending their messages into the void, and then they would wait, holding their breath, listening for the faint reply to drift back. Imagine the astronauts huddled together in the cold, dark lunar module, which they were now using as a lifeboat. They too were listening. They were conserving every bit of energy, every ounce of their strength. When their radio crackled with a voice from Earth, it was more than just data. It was a lifeline. It was a reminder that they were not alone. Someone was listening. Someone was working to bring them home. This dance of communication continued for days. A slow, careful exchange across the silent ocean of space. The signal would fade in and out, sometimes disappearing completely, testing the patience of everyone involved. But their resolve never wavered. With every successful exchange, with every tiny piece of information that got through, hope grew stronger. The people on the ground worked tirelessly, like a great family working to save their own. They built simulators, tested solutions, and figured out how to stretch the spacecraft's limited resources. They were fueled by coffee and by an unshakable belief in their team, both on the ground and in the sky. This story isn't just about technology. It's about the human spirit. It's about resilience. It's about the incredible power of listening. In our own lives, sometimes the signals we get from others are faint. A quiet friend, a distant family member. It can be easy to miss those whispers, but Apollo 13 teaches us the importance of leaning in, of listening closely, of never giving up on that connection. As the spacecraft finally looped around the moon, using its gravity to slingshot back toward Earth, the signal remained their only link. It was a symbol of their journey, tenuous, fragile, but unbroken. It carried calculations for course corrections, words of encouragement, and the steady, calming presence of the team that was guiding them home. Think of the vastness of the cosmos, the great, silent plains of the night sky that you might see from your window. Out in that endless dark, a tiny spark of humanity was navigating its way back, guided by a whisper. The Native American people have long listened to the whispers of the wind, the stories in the stars, and the quiet wisdom of the earth. They understand the power of listening to the subtle signs, the faint signals that nature provides. In a way, the team at Mission Control was doing the same, listening to the quiet language of the universe to find their lost brothers. The journey home was perilous. The final moments, re-entering Earth's atmosphere, were the most dangerous of all. There would be a period of complete radio silence as the capsule blazed through the sky, hotter than the sun's surface. The faint signal would disappear one last time, and all anyone could do was wait. The silence stretched on. 1 minute? 2 minutes. 3. The tension in Mission Control was unbearable. They had guided the crew all this way, through the cold and the dark, using nothing but a whisper. Had they made it? And then a voice, loud and clear, broke the silence. The astronauts were back. The capsule had splashed down safely in the Pacific Ocean. The faint signal had done its job. The whisper had become a triumphant shout, heard around the world. The story of Apollo 13's faint signal is a bedtime story about the quiet strength that lies within all of us. It is about the power of patience and the courage to listen when it seems like there's nothing to hear. It's a reminder that even when things seem darkest, even when we feel lost and far from home, there is always hope. Sometimes, it's not in the loud and the obvious, but in the quietest, faintest signal. All we have to do is be still enough to hear it. So, as you drift off to sleep tonight, let this story be of gentle comfort. Let it remind you that you are resilient. You are capable of navigating through darkness. And even on the quietest nights, you are never truly alone. There is always a connection, a thread of hope, waiting to be heard. Let your breathing be slow and steady, like the patient rhythm of listening. Inhale peace, exhale the day. Feel the quiet strength that carried those astronauts home, and know that the same strength resides within you. The universe is vast, but it is not empty. It is filled with faint signals, with quiet wonders, with the promise of a new day. Sleep well, and may your dreams be as peaceful as a starry night. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, feel free to subscribe for more quiet nights together. Good night.